Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie above thy deep and dreamless sleep. The silent stars go by.
Deep down, I always knew I'd be a mother, even if it took a miracle, and it did. But you want to know how to frustrate God's plan? Well, just ask my husband. He couldn't speak when Mary arrived at our doorstep. Maybe that was a good thing, because I knew another miracle was taking place. I could feel it, and my little boy could too. He started twisting and turning in my belly because he knew he was in the presence of his Messiah. We kept Mary safe for months. Where else was she to go? Her family was outraged, and Joseph didn't want her either. I understand why. A supernatural pregnancy? More like a biological impossibility. But God loves the impossible, doesn't he?
I stayed silent for a long time, and stubborn. What would you have done if the person you knew you'd spend the rest of your life with since you were little suddenly told you there was a new plan? A new plan? Sounds like you weren't planning at all, or thinking. What were you thinking? So I stopped speaking to anybody. Why bother when nothing makes sense? But in my silence, he came to me in a dream, an angel. And he told me what my heart wanted to hear, but was too stubborn to believe. The baby was God's. Mary was right.
Joseph came around just like Zacharias did, and he took Mary back. Now everyone thought they were both crazy, but they knew this is what they had to do. God had given them an assignment to bring his greatest gift to everyone.
How silently the wondrous gift is given. So God imparts to human hearts the blessings of his heaven. No ear may hear his coming, but in this world of sin, where meek souls will receive him still, the dear Christ enters in.
They told me a new king had been born, and that they had followed a star for months to find him. And when they did, they were going to worship him. Worship a baby? Ha! But they weren't laughing. They were convinced. They talked in a way they believed. Well, if this king was worthy of their worship, shouldn't he be worthy of mine? The last thing I'd want to do is stand in the way of his greatness.
He came to me in a dream again, but this time he warned that danger was coming and that we'd be safe in Egypt. So I got up, right then in the middle of the night, and gathered all I could. And within the hour, we were on our way south, far, far from Bethlehem.
They promised they'd be back. They said they'd give me word. But there was only silence. I hate silence. And this baby, this king, was still out there. If they wanted to play a game, they chose the wrong opponent. Because if there's one thing I hate more than silence, it's losing.
I had spent so much of my life in silence that I forgot what it was like to hear again. But the cry of a baby changed all that.
He told me to name him Jesus, which means he will save. He will save.
He had come to rescue us, not from Herod, not from the Romans, but from our sin.
The dark night waves and glory breaks. The child was born for us, glorious. The dark night waves and glory breaks. The child was born for us, glorious.
That night was anything but unremarkable. It was profound. Heaven stepped down to earth to win us back from the darkness. God himself in human form. My son. God's son. Because of him, we will never have to live in silence again.
The dark night wakes and glory breaks. The child